This video is for those of you out there who are on the autism spectrum. I want to talk about the masking paradox, when professional success costs you your relationship at home. Now, there's a quiet trade-off happening in a lot of neurodiverse marriages, and most couples don't even realize they're making it. On the outside, everything looks solid. You're showing up at work, you're performing, you're solving problems, you're holding it together in meetings, conversations, and expectations at work. But then you walk through the front door, and there's nothing left. Your battery, dead. No patience, no energy, no emotional availability for your NT wife or the family in general. And your NT wife is standing there thinking, why do they get the best version of you at work and I get what's left over? This is what I call the masking paradox. The very thing that helps you succeed professionally is the same thing that quietly erodes your connection at home. So today, we're going to break this down in a very real, practical way. We're going to talk about why this happens, why it feels so personal to your NT wife, and how to rebuild your home as a place of connection, not collapse. Now let's talk about the invisible cost of professional masking. We're going to start with what masking actually is. Masking is not fake. It's not manipulation. It's effortful adaptation. It's monitoring your tone, tracking social cues, filtering your responses, managing eye contact, suppressing overload, and forcing executive functioning under pressure. And at work, that's rewarded. You get promotions, respect, stability, predictability. So your nervous system learns something very quickly. Masking equals safety. But here's the problem. Masking runs a finite energy system. Think of your social battery like a fuel tank. Every meeting, every interaction, every moment of self-regulation, it's burning fuel. And most autistic individuals are running at near empty by the end of the day. They're not just tired, they're depleted. There's a big difference there. Now let's look at what the neurotypical spouse experiences. We're going to shift the perspective here because this is where relationship starts to fracture. Your NT spouse doesn't see the internal cost of masking. What your NT spouse sees is contrast. She sees you functioning at work, you engaging with others, you solving problems. And then she experiences withdrawal, irritability, shutdown, and flatness coming from you. So her nervous system interprets that as, you're choosing not to show up for me. Or worse, you don't even care about me. You just care about your job. And now we have a painful loop. The autistic partner is thinking, I have nothing left to give. The neurotypical partner is thinking, I'm getting rejected. Nothing is wrong here, but both are hurting. Now let's talk about the masking paradox. The more successful you are at masking in the outside world, the less capacity you have for connection at home. So success becomes very expensive, not financially, but relationally. And over time, this creates what I call the leftover effect. Your NT partner isn't getting you. She's getting your exhaustion and your sensory overload and your emotional shutdown. And that builds resentment. Not because she's being unreasonable, but because intimacy requires energy, and your energy is gone when you walk through the front door. Let's talk about why trying harder at home fails. A lot of advice out there says, well, just communicate better. Try harder at home. Be more present. Well, that sounds good. But it completely ignores nervous system reality. You can't give what your system doesn't have access to. Your battery is at 5% at the end of the day. You don't fix that by demanding 50% output. That's how burnout deepens. So instead of pushing harder, we need to restructure how our energy is used and restored. So let's talk about reframing the home from dumping ground to sanctuary. And here's the shift that changes everything. Most couples unintentionally treat home like this: the dumping ground for the day's leftover energy. Whatever is left lands there. But what if we flip that? What if home became the primary place where your nervous system is allowed to recover? Not perform, not mask, but to recover. That means we redefine home as a sanctuary for unmasking. Now let me be clear. Unmasking does not mean ignoring your NT partner, withdrawing indefinitely, or being emotionally unavailable. It means, you know what, I don't have to perform here, but I still need to stay connected. That's a big difference. Now let's talk about bridging the professional-domestic gap. So how do we actually bridge this gap? Let's get very practical here. Step number 1, the transition ritual. You can't go straight from high-demand masking into emotional intimacy. That's too big of a jump. You need a buffer, a structured transition. This might look like 20 to 30 minutes alone after work, low sensory input at home, no demands, no conversation. But here's the key. This must be communicated and agreed upon between you and your NT spouse. Otherwise, she experiences it as rejection. So instead of disappearing, you say, you know what, I need 25 minutes to reset so I can actually be present with you. Now your NT partner understands this isn't avoidance, it's preparation. Step 2, scheduled emotional availability. Connection can't rely on leftover energy. It has to be intentional. That means planned check-ins, predictable connection times, clear expectations. Even 15 to 20 minutes of fully present interaction is way more valuable than hours of half available presence. Quality over quantity. Number 3, energy budgeting. If all your energy is spent at work, there's nothing left for your relationship. So we ask a hard question. Where is your energy going? And is it aligned with your values? This might mean reducing unnecessary social effort at work, setting boundaries at work, allowing more authenticity in certain environments. Not eliminating masking, but using it strategically instead of constantly. Step 4, partner reframes, and this is crucial. For the NT spouses out there, your ASD spouse's shutdown is not a lack of love. It's a sign of nervous system depletion. When you interpret it as rejection, you escalate. When you understand it as overload, you respond differently. You shift from, why are you pulling away from me? Or why do you not have anything left in the tank when you walk through the front door? 2, what does your system need so we can reconnect? That shift alone reduces conflict dramatically. Let's talk about the emotional reality no one says out loud. I want to say something very honest here. A lot of autistic partners are silently thinking, well, if I stop masking at work, I risk everything. And the neurotypical partner may be thinking, well, if this is all I'm ever going to get at home, I'm just going to be alone the rest of my life. That's the tension. Career survival versus emotional intimacy. But it doesn't have to be either or. It becomes both when you build a system. So let's talk about the new model, sustainable connection. And here's what a healthier model looks like. Masking is intentional, not constant. Recovery is built into the day, not postponed. Connection is planned, not assumed. Home is safe for unmasking, but not disconnection. You're not trying to be perfect, you're trying to be sustainable. Now let's look at a real life example here. An autistic partner comes home after a full day of meetings. The old pattern is he walks in, shuts down, minimal interaction. His NT partner feels ignored and conflict builds. Here's the new pattern. He walks in, says, you know what, I'm about at 10% right now on my battery. I need about 30 minutes to recharge. He takes some recovery time. He returns intentionally, and he engages for a defined period of time. Same person, same day, completely different outcome. Why? Because the system changed. Now, if this dynamic is happening in your relationship, you're not screwed, okay? You're running a system that doesn't match how your nervous system actually works. And once you understand that, you can start rebuilding, not by trying harder, but by being more intentional. The goal is not to give your NT partner everything. The goal is to give your NT partner the version of you that's actually available and build your life so that that version has room to exist. Because success at work shouldn't cost you connection at home, and your relationship shouldn't have to live on leftovers. Now, if this helps you see your situation more clearly, subscribe, because we go deeper into this every week. And if you're in this dynamic right now, start small. One transition ritual, one intentional check-in, and that's how change begins. Would you like to schedule a paid private coaching session? This will be in the form of a face-to-face Zoom call. Underneath any of my videos, you'll see this Calendly link. If you click on that link, it'll open up my calendar. You can pick the available days and times that works for your schedule. You'll get a follow-up email immediately after purchasing a session that will have the Zoom link that coincides with the day and time that you picked. I will get an email too that you scheduled a session, and I will be available on that exact day and time, and we will talk. I look forward to working with you.